Have you ever noticed, despite all the noise around us, a quiet little voice inside you trying to get your attention? It's not just your thoughts or feelings talking, it's something soft and steady, like a gentle echo from somewhere deep inside, somewhere you can't really point to, but somehow you just know it's there. That quiet voice isn't just your imagination, it's real and it's waiting for you to listen. But how do you actually hear it? Most people look outside themselves, books, teachers, intense experiences, but very few stop and pay attention to where the real connection to your higher self lives. Your breath. Yes, you're breathing all day long, but how many of those breaths do you take consciously? How many are deep enough to go beyond just existing and reach the deepest, brightest, most honest part of who you are? Breathing isn't just a bodily function. In ancient wisdom, it was seen as the language of the soul, the way your body and spirit come together. It's no coincidence that in many languages the word for breath and spirit are linked. In Hebrew, it's ruach. In Greek, pneuma. In Latin, spiritus. They all mean both breath and spirit. When you breathe with awareness, breathing in like you're receiving energy from the universe, breathing out like you're letting go of your ego, something powerful happens. A door opens, a vibration tunes in, and your inner self starts to communicate. This isn't a breathing lesson. It's an invitation to explore the unseen. We'll look at how mindful breathing helps you connect with your highest energy, the part of you that's calm and steady beneath all the noise, the part that doesn't shout but is always there. You'll learn why this practice has been quietly passed down for centuries. You'll see how ancient spiritual schools used it to reach higher states. And most importantly, you'll realize you don't need anything outside yourself to wake up. You just need to learn how to breathe with your soul. Because when you truly breathe, when each breath in feels like a gift, and each breath out feels like letting go, your body becomes a temple, and the silence starts to speak. Since humans began, breath has been way more than just a way to stay alive. Ancient cultures didn't see breathing as just air going in and out. They saw it as a sacred link between the physical and the invisible. In ancient Egypt, priests practiced a special rhythmic breathing called the breath of Ra. By syncing their breath with the sun's cycles, they believed they connected their vital energy with cosmic wisdom. It wasn't just symbolic, it was a real way to sharpen their awareness, clear their inner channels, and hear the spirit's language through the air. In India, yogis developed an ancient breathing art called pranayama. The word means life force. Prana, expansion, ayama. It wasn't just about breathing better, it was about growing your awareness through breath. Hindu texts say that if you control your breath, you control your mind, and if you control your mind, you awaken to your true self. In Chinese tradition, Qigong is about moving the life energy, qi, inside the body. But qi isn't just energy, it's consciousness. Taoists said breath connects earth and heaven, the instinctive body and the eternal spirit. Breath was the path to becoming immortal. Even in early Christianity and in Sufi Islam, breath mattered. Desert monks combined prayer with breath, making each out-breath a surrender and each in-breath a reception of divine grace. Sufis used rhythmic breathing with their sacred chants to enter a calm state where the soul could hear God's voice without words. What do all these traditions have in common? They didn't depend on outside things. They knew that when the body calms and breath becomes aware, the walls between your everyday self and your higher self fall away. The soul doesn't yell, it whispers, and you can only hear it in the quiet of deep breath. Today, this wisdom is coming back. Science is starting to confirm what ancient teachers already knew. Mindful breathing changes the brain, balances emotions, and opens the door to higher states. But beyond science, there's a spiritual truth. Breathing with intention is remembering who you really are. Breath is the first thing you do at birth and the last thing you do at death. In between, you breathe thousands of times without thinking. But inside that simple act is a doorway to your highest self. This isn't just a poetic idea, it's a real living truth. Breath connects your body to your subtle consciousness. Learning to breathe with purpose is opening a door that's always been there, waiting. To really get how breath links you to your higher self, you need to understand one key thing. Your awareness has layers. The top layer is full of scattered thoughts, emotions, and outside distractions. But underneath, there's a deeper, quiet, clear awareness. Different traditions call it presence, witness, being, or simply I am. You can't reach that deeper level with your logical mind. It happens when you tune into your energy. Breath is the key to tuning in. When you breathe shallowly, your energy stays stuck in the part of your mind that gets distracted, worried, or compares itself to others. But when you start breathing deeply, slowly, and with intention, something changes. The mental chatter quiets down, your focus sharpens, your body relaxes, and you become more aware. In that space, you stop just thinking. You start really noticing. You stop reacting. You start understanding. You become an observer of yourself. And that's when your higher self begins to show up. On an energetic level, conscious breathing changes the body's vibration. Slowing down your breath slows your brain waves too, bringing you into a calmer, more focused state, like the relaxed brain waves people have during meditation or moments of inspiration. This isn't random, it's like tuning a radio antenna. Your breath helps you connect to frequencies that have always been there, but were blocked by all the noise in your head. This brings us to something called fine spiritual energy. It's not electricity or heat. It's a subtle vibration you can't see, but it's very real to those who are awake. It's the energy behind intuition, sudden knowing, and love without reason. When you breathe consciously, you raise your personal energy so you can sense this energy, like hearing a whisper in silence. The best part? You don't need blind faith or complicated rituals, just your attention and your breath. Your breath becomes a compass inside you, and you start to feel that something inside is guiding you, watching over you, and communicating without words. That feeling of sudden clarity, peace, or inner knowing, that's your higher self talking through the quiet your breath created. As you practice, a deep change happens. You stop identifying with fear, the past, or pretending to be someone else. You begin to see that beneath all that, there's a part of you that's always been there, free, wise, loving, and calm. You don't find this part by trying hard. It appears when you're present, and breath is the real way to get there. So it's not just about breathing better. It's about living from your breath. Breathing becomes a sacred act, like moving meditation, a doorway you cross again and again to get closer to your bright, true center. We've already talked about how conscious breathing calms you, sharpens your energy, and connects you to your higher self. But there's more. How that connection starts to speak to you. The most powerful part isn't just finding peace, it's learning to listen to your inner guidance, that subtle whisper of your soul. And to do that, you need to know the higher self doesn't communicate like your mind does. It doesn't argue or reason. The higher self speaks through vibrations. Conscious breathing is the tuner that makes your body and mind an instrument to pick up those messages. Imagine a lake. When the wind blows, the water is all rough and blurry. But when it's calm, the water is a perfect mirror. Your mind works the same way. When you breathe shallowly and live on autopilot, your inner world is rough and unclear. When you breathe with intention, everything calms down, and you can clearly see your higher self's light. How does this communication happen? Don't expect words or pictures. Sometimes it's just a feeling of certainty, an idea that pops up effortlessly, a warm feeling guiding your choice, or an inner yes you can't explain but just feels right. Many spiritual teachers call this inner listening. It's not imagination or wishful thinking. It's a frequency you can only sense when you turn inward and breathe mindfully. At this point, practice is key. The more you do it, the more you notice these signals. Your whole body becomes like an antenna. You sense shifts in places, in people, in your own decisions. What once felt random now has meaning. What was once vague intuition becomes clear guidance. Here's something cool. Your heart and brain start working together. Studies show deep, rhythmic breathing syncs brainwaves with your heartbeat, creating a state of balance and clarity. People say in this state they feel more clear, intuitive, and aware. Ancient cultures knew this without science. That's why many sacred rituals included long, deep breathing before important visions or decisions. It was their way to tune in to higher wisdom. And that wisdom isn't somewhere out there. It's deep inside you, and that higher you has always been waiting for you to quiet the noise so it can speak. Sometimes this leads to what some call spiritual downloads, sudden insights that shift your life, or feelings of unity with everything around you. These don't come from outside. They come from the core, beneath all the thoughts, fears, and distractions. The amazing thing is, you don't have to call this higher part of yourself. It's already there. You just need to breathe and make space for it. The practice is simple, but the impact is huge. With every breath in, you receive. With every breath out, you let go. And in the small pause between, you hear yourself beyond your ego. That's the whisper of your soul. That's the secret language of your higher self. And it's just one breath away. Knowing breath connects you to your higher self is the first step. But without making it a daily habit, without dedication, it stays just an idea. To really live this wisdom, you have to create sacred moments in your everyday life. You don't need a fancy temple. Your body is the temple. Your breath is the incense. Your awareness is the priest. Here are some simple but powerful practices to help you tune into your subtle energy and connect with your higher self. These exercises not only balance your body, but also open up new levels of awareness. Make them part of your routine, because awakening isn't a one-time event, it's a lifestyle. First, the morning ritual. 3 gates, 1 breath. When you wake up, before checking your phone or getting out of bed, place your hands on 3 spots: your belly, your heart, and your forehead. These are the 3 gates of your inner temple: your instinct, your emotions, and your intuition. Take a deep breath into your belly, then exhale gently through your mouth. Next, breathe into your heart with gratitude. Finally, breathe into your forehead as if it's glowing from the inside. Repeat this 3 times. In less than 5 minutes, this simple ritual balances your energy and connects you with your center right from the start of the day. Second, active intentional breathing. During the day, especially when you feel confused, worried, or stressed, pause. Put your hands on your chest or belly. Breathe in for 4 counts, hold for 2, and breathe out for 6. But don't just do it mechanically. Ask yourself silently, what part of me needs attention right now? Don't look for a logical answer. Notice what feelings, thoughts, or images come up. This isn't a mental conversation. It's tuning into your higher self's subtle guidance. Third, whisper meditation. Every night before bed, sit quietly in the dark, close your eyes, and focus on the sound of your breath. Don't try to control it, just notice it. If your mind wanders, softly whisper a word that feels right to you, like peace, I am, light, or silence. This practice helps your mind relax and opens you up to intuitive messages in your dreams or when you wake up. Sometimes you'll get a phrase or a feeling of knowing. Trust it. Your higher self speaks in symbols, not words. Fourth, cyclical breathing with affirmations. Pick a short, meaningful phrase that connects you with your purpose, like I am wisdom, I trust my guidance, or I'm connected to my soul. As you breathe, repeat the phrase quietly in your mind as you inhale, and imagine it spreading through your body as you exhale. Do this for 5 minutes every day. It helps reprogram your energy and aligns your thoughts with your true self. Fifth, create a breath altar. Set up a small space in your home, a candle, a crystal, a flower, or a bowl. When you sit there, you enter into connection with your higher self. Doing this regularly builds a special energy in that spot, helping your mind quiet faster and creating a doorway to your inner self. These aren't just exercises, they're symbolic acts that strengthen your connection to the unseen. By practicing daily, you build a living relationship with your higher self and learn that the deepest wisdom comes from within, not outside. Your journey hasn't been about distance, but depth. You've moved from just breathing automatically to understanding that each breath can be a prayer, each exhale an answer from your soul. This isn't new, it's as old as life itself. But in today's noisy, busy world, this simple truth is often forgotten. Conscious breath is the master key to the divine inside you. Breathing isn't something you have to learn, it's something you remember. It's not just a physical process, but a sacred language. When you pay attention to your breath, you tune your energy, calm your mind, balance your emotions, and open a channel for your higher self to speak. This higher self isn't far away or imaginary. It's the wisest, most loving, clearest part of you. It watches without judging, guides without forcing, and whispers even when your ego is shouting. It's always been with you, but its voice is quiet, only heard when your inner temple is still, and that stillness comes from the simplest, most powerful thing, your breath. Just like fire needs oxygen to burn, your soul needs space to show up. That space is created between each breath in and each conscious breath out. In that quiet moment, magic happens. Clarity appears, certainty arises, and connection without words takes place. That's where you live in truth. So don't underestimate the power of a single conscious breath. One mindful breath can stop an emotional storm, bring insight, and restore balance. Make breathing a daily loving practice, and soon you'll notice you react less, sense more, and your life flows more naturally from within. If this message resonates with you, subscribe to the channel, like this video, and share it with others looking for their inner voice. Because the soul's wisdom shouldn't be a secret, but a way of life. Now you have the key. Breathe and listen. Imagine for a moment that every word you say is like a spark of sacred fire, a thread that connects the invisible world to the physical one. What if I told you that you don't need any complicated rituals or distant temples to practice real magic? What if the most powerful tool for creating is closer than you think, right inside your throat? Since ancient times, wise people have talked about the power of spoken words, not just as a way to share ideas, but as a direct connection to the universe's creative energy. In many spiritual traditions, words don't just share information, they change things. They don't just tell, they create form. The sounds coming from your lips are more than just air vibrations. They are coded energy, focused intention, and a moving force of reality. This video explores the throat's energy center, a forgotten but powerful key to spiritual growth. We'll talk about the Vishuddha chakra, the power of names in ancient traditions, mantras, sacred declarations, the art of mindful speaking, and how your voice can open inner doors to places beyond logical thinking. Along the way, we'll reveal the hidden mysteries behind speaking. You'll learn how language shapes not only your thoughts, but also your feelings, choices, and destiny. You'll see when your words build up and when they break down, when they open paths and when they close them. Every sound you make shoots out like an arrow into the quantum field, and the universe responds. I'll share strong examples, practical exercises, and classic references to help you understand the voice's role in ancient spiritual practices more deeply. It doesn't matter if you talk a lot or a little, whether you're shy or outgoing, your words are a sacred tool. The more you understand this, the better you can bring balance to your inner world and the world around you. Get ready. We're about to dive deep into the throat like a sacred cave, lighting up its darkness with the fire of knowledge. This isn't just a regular video. It's a ceremony to reconnect you with your closest creative power. When you learn to speak from your soul, reality has no choice but to listen and change. Since the dawn of humanity, cultures have honored the power of the word as a bridge between the physical and spiritual worlds. Speaking wasn't just about communication, it was seen as a magical act, a spell vibrating through the air, changing not only what people think, but also the subtle fabric of reality. In the beginning was the Word, says the Gospel of John. The Word was with God, and the Word was God. This isn't just poetry, it's a mystical truth. The Greek word logos means more than speech. It means the creative intelligence and original frequency that shaped everything. In other words, the universe was spoken into being. The ancient Egyptians believed this too. Thoth, the god of wisdom and writing, wasn't just a divine scribe. He spoke the spells that held the universe together. Each hieroglyph was more than a symbol. It was a coded vibration. Saying a name correctly brought its essence. Mispronouncing it twisted its power. That's why priests trained their voices, not just to pray, but to channel living energy. In Hindu tradition, mantras are sacred sounds without literal meaning but full of energy. When repeated with full awareness, they awaken sleeping energy centers and reshape the aura. For example, the mantra Om has no specific meaning but resonates with the universe's frequency. In these traditions, sound doesn't describe, it creates. In Islam, the Quran was revealed orally, not just written down. Its recitation, called tajweed, is a spiritual practice where tone, rhythm, and intention align the reader with divine will. Like many cultures, here sound is more than communication. It's a direct path to the soul. Even medieval alchemists knew that words spoken with knowledge and energy were keys. Their formulas included not just materials, but also spiritual calls. Language was both science and art, a way to touch invisible worlds. Across traditions, the throat as the place of speech was seen as a sacred gateway to be cleansed, strengthened, and honored. Silence wasn't emptiness, but the furnace where true words are forged. This shows us language isn't neutral. How we speak, the words we choose, and the intention behind them send energy into the world and shape the reality we live in. The throat isn't just a body part, it's the cup of words, the tower from which the soul shines its light or shadow. Now imagine every word you say is a stone on the path you walk in life. Some stones are smooth and glowing, others are sharp or heavy. Each one changes your reality, not just as a symbol, but through its vibration. This deep understanding of the throat was held by ancient secret schools. The throat is more than just a passage for sound. It's a sacred space where thoughts turn into reality. Known as the Vishuddha chakra in the chakra system, this energy center is a powerful vortex where invisible intentions become audible vibrations. This is where imagination, inner judgment, intuition, and emotions find their most direct physical outlet. It's no surprise that when someone is scared, their voice shakes. When angry, they raise their voice. And when in love, Their tone softens. The soul speaks through the throat, and the world responds accordingly. Everything in the universe vibrates, and every word you speak carries an energy that affects not just your surroundings, but your own energy field. If you often say things like, "I can't," "This is impossible," or "I don't deserve this," you're shaping your energy field with limiting patterns. On the other hand, if you speak with affirmations, clarity, and recognition, you help shift your environment toward harmony. In Hebrew tradition, God's name was considered unpronounceable because saying it was believed to bring God's presence. This idea still holds true. What you name, you call forth. When you define yourself, you create yourself. Saying "I'm weak" isn't just an opinion, it's a spell you cast on yourself. Saying "I'm light" is a declaration that aligns you with higher, purer energy. When people lie, their voice tightens. When they hide the truth, their throat closes up. That's why many cultures say the soul shows in the voice. Wise teachers knew that to truly understand someone, you need to listen carefully because the voice doesn't lie, even if the words do. The voice is the breath of the soul, encoded in sound. More than that, the voice can heal. Ancient shamans, power songs, Gregorian chants, and Hindu devotional hymns aren't just cultural rituals. They're real methods of using sound vibrations to change the energy in the body and space. Each note and tone has the power to reorganize subtle energy. In many traditions, the throat is seen as the meeting point between heart and mind, the place where feelings, heart chakra, and thoughts, brow chakra, come together. When these centers are in balance, the words you speak are strong, clear, and transformative. But if they're out of sync, if you say things you don't believe or hold back what you feel, your voice loses power and your energy fragments. That's why teachers say, speaking your inner truth isn't just the right thing to do. It's essential for your energy. Speaking honestly, with respect and without fear, aligns your whole being and strengthens your life force. On the other hand, silence out of fear, convenient lies, or unconscious speech weakens your aura and opens cracks in your energy where confusion, doubt, and outside influence can slip in. The throat is your altar where your inner divinity offers words to the world. It's the furnace where thoughts turn into vibrations and vibrations into creation. Mastering this energy center isn't about talking more. It's about speaking better with awareness, intention, and truth. In the beginning was the Word. This phrase, found from the Gospel of John to ancient Vedic and Hermetic texts, isn't just poetry. It's a secret code revealing sound's creative power. The Word, or Logos, is the breath that started the universe. Since the universe was created by sound, every word we say holds the spark of that original fire. The throat is not just a physical passage. It's a forge where the unseen takes form. Every word you speak is like planting a seed of energy in the invisible fields of reality. Like any seed, it doesn't just sit still, it grows and bears fruit, for better or worse. This is the core truth about creative and destructive words. Ancient wisdom schools knew speaking wasn't trivial. They had students practice silence for years before letting them speak sacred formulas. Why? Because if the tongue isn't controlled by awareness, it becomes a wild sword that can hurt others and damage the speaker's soul. Words are spells, and you are the sorcerer. Every phrase you repeat becomes a command in the energy field. Saying, "I'm useless, I can't do this," or "nobody listens to me," casts a negative spell on your reality. What you say, you create. What you name comes into being. Even scripture says, life and death are in the power of the tongue. This isn't just a moral lesson, it's an energetic law. The language you choose shapes who you are. Thinking positively isn't enough. You must speak positively. Good intentions aren't enough. They must be matched with words that vibrate with what you want to create. But if words hold power, silence is just as important. In ancient Egyptian and Indian traditions, silence was seen as the source from which all sacred sound emerges. Thoth, the Egyptian god of magical speech, kept silence before speaking secret names that moved the stars. Yogis who practice mauna, sacred silence, aren't weak. They build energy for the word before it's spoken. Learning silence is part of mastering the throat. Silence to watch, to hear beyond noise, to connect with what isn't said. In that quiet space, intuition rises, and with it comes the right word, not reactive or mechanical, but revealing and true. One of the best-kept secrets of esoteric traditions is that the true power of your voice isn't just in the words you say, but in how well your thoughts, feelings, and speech line up. When they come together, your voice becomes like a focused laser beam that can cut through reality. This harmony is what sets a true master apart. They may not speak often, but when they do, everything changes. On the other hand, if there's a disconnect, if you say things you don't believe or just repeat words without feeling, your voice loses strength. The energy breaks apart, your message weakens, and your overall energy field becomes scattered. That's why on the spiritual path, we're asked not only to watch what we say, but to pay attention to where it's coming from. Fear, ego, or soul. Mastering the power of the throat means learning to become the living word. It's more than just communication. It's about embodying what you say, becoming the living expression of your words. In esoteric circles, this is called becoming the logos, a state where your voice alone can harmonize a space, inspire others, break false beliefs, and call forth higher realities. At this point, the throat becomes a sacred channel, not just for expressing, but for consciously creating. This is where real magic begins. Activating the sacred power of the throat means not only understanding its spiritual meaning, but bringing it into daily life through mindful practice and energy-aligned choices. Next, we'll explore practical ways to bring this wisdom to life, not as some far-off idea, but as a living art that changes how you communicate and shape your reality. First, choose your words like an alchemist chooses ingredients. Each word you say sparks energy in the universe's vibration field. One of the most powerful habits you can develop is the art of mindful speech. Don't speak on impulse. Before you speak, take a breath. Check your intention. Ask yourself, does what I'm about to say build up or tear down? Does it align with my highest truth? This pause isn't holding back, it's refining your words. Just like an alchemist purifies metals to find gold, you distill your words to release only those with true power. Unconscious words are just noise. Conscious words are focused beams. Practice replacing automatic negative phrases like, "This is a problem," with empowering ones like, "This is a chance for change." Instead of, "I'm so tired of everything," say, "I'm looking for new balance." Replace, "I always fail," with, "I'm learning something deeper from this." It's not about sugarcoating reality, but speaking from a place that strengthens your experience. Second, practice intentional mantras. Mantras aren't just sacred sounds from Eastern traditions. They're vibrational seeds that affect your energy field directly. You can create your own personal mantras. The key isn't in using exotic words, but in aligning your feelings, intentions, and words in harmony. Try phrases like, "My voice awakens the world's sleeping truth." "My words are bridges to my purpose." "Each time I speak, I plant light." Say these out loud in the morning or before bed. Feel them deeply and picture their energy spreading like ripples on water. This practice rewires not just your mind, but your whole energy system. Third, treat silence as a sacred space. One of the greatest secrets of wise teachers wasn't how much they talked, but how well they knew how to be silent. Silence isn't the absence of words, it's the preparation for them. Like an arrow that pulls back before it shoots, your words need to gather in silence to find their direction. Take a few minutes each day to sit quietly, no music, no distractions, just you, your breath, and listening inward. Watch your thoughts, feel your throat, and ask, what truth does my voice want to share today? This mindful silence strengthens your ability to express yourself and roots your words deeply. Fourth, speak with your body aligned. The throat doesn't work alone. It's the bridge between your emotional center, the heart, and your thinking center, the mind. If you're slouched, tense, or out of alignment, your voice weakens. But if you stand tall, open, and present, your words carry natural authority. Before saying something important, take a proud stance. Breathe deeply. Feel energy flow from your pelvis to the top of your head. Then send that energy out through your voice. This body awareness is key to speaking with true power. Fifth, avoid empty talk and constant complaining. Non-stop complaining, sarcasm, and harsh judgments drain your throat's energy. It's like energy leaking out. Notice how often you speak just out of habit to fill silence or react and decide to take back that power. It's not about never complaining, but about turning complaints into awareness. If you need to express discomfort, do it clearly, without playing the victim, and always with the goal of finding a solution. When you do this, your words become healing, not harmful. The power in your throat is waiting to be awakened. You don't need a stage or a pulpit. Every conversation, every thought turned into a word is a chance to be a conscious creator. Your life changes in direct connection with the change in your words. Speak as if every word is a prayer, because it truly is. There's an old secret saying, the universe was created by a single word, and just like that, it can be changed. For centuries, this truth has been spoken in many languages, often hidden in plain sight. Wise cultures understood this. The throat is more than just a body part. It's a doorway, a bridge between the invisible and the visible. Your ability to speak isn't a random accident. It's a divine spark, a reflection of the original creative power. Throughout this journey, we've revealed that speaking isn't just about sharing information. It's about projecting, planting seeds, calling forth, and building invisible bridges that change your everyday reality. You've learned that the throat doesn't just produce sounds, it turns inner intentions into magical actions. Every word is like a vibrational seed, and the soil where it lands is your consciousness. True wisdom isn't about having more words, but knowing when and how to use them. It's not about speaking louder, but speaking from your center, from the harmony that happens when your thoughts, feelings, and actions line up. When you speak from that place, you don't try to convince. You transform. You don't push. You reveal. You don't repeat. You awaken. With this power comes responsibility. The responsibility to never speak empty words again, and never waste your voice on things that are meaningless, harmful, or automatic. Every time you open your mouth, you decide whether to build or destroy, to lift up or confuse, to open or close. And that choice is yours, every moment. But this video isn't just a lesson for your mind. It's a call to remember that a creator lives inside you, and its strongest tool isn't strength, smarts, or skill, but the living word, the word that comes from speaking your deepest truth, not to please or convince, but to reveal the light inside you and others. I invite you now to use your voice as a spiritual act, to bless with your words, even in silence, and to become the priest or priestess of your own word. When you honor your throat's power, you connect with the mystery that links heaven and earth through your very being. And never forget this: the universe is always listening. Every word you speak leaves a mark on the fabric of time. Every yes, every no, every affirmation is an order that the quantum field answers by manifesting. What are you creating with your words? What worlds are you calling into being without even knowing it? This is your moment. Rediscover the power of your word. Take back your inner throne and speak as someone who knows their words are a sacred act of creation. If this message speaks to you, honor it by sharing it. Subscribe, leave your voice in the comments, and join us on this journey where every word brings us closer to the mystery of who we truly are. For in the beginning was the Word, and you are the Word awakening. There's an old idea that's been passed down through history, hidden in ancient books, built into the designs of long-gone civilizations, and woven into the natural world around us. It goes like this: as above, so below. Just 6 simple words, but they hold a deep truth that, if truly understood, can change how you see yourself, the world, and the universe. But what do they really mean? Is it just a poetic way of speaking, or does it hold a deeper secret about how everything fits together? This idea comes from the ancient wisdom of Hermes Trismegistus, a legendary figure who inspired many thinkers, alchemists, and mystics over the centuries. Some believe this phrase unlocks the mysteries of the cosmos, while others say it's a guide that helps us understand how the universe and our own minds are connected. Imagine for a moment that the vast universe outside and the smallest parts of you inside are closely linked, like 2 sides of the same coin. What happens in the stars and sky is reflected here on Earth, and what goes on in your mind and spirit shapes the world around you. This is what's called the law of correspondence. In this explanation, we'll break down what that means, look at how ancient traditions saw this idea, and most importantly, talk about how you can use this knowledge in your everyday life to change your experience for the better. Stick with me, because what you learn might just change how you look at life forever. The phrase, as above, so below, isn't just some abstract concept. It's a timeless truth shared by many cultures and spiritual traditions throughout history. Our story starts with Hermes Trismegistus, a wise man from ancient Egypt and Greece who's credited with founding a philosophy known as Hermeticism. In a mysterious work called the Emerald Tablet, he wrote, "That which is below is like that which is above, and that which is above is like that which is below, to accomplish the miracles of one thing." But what does that really mean? Simply put, it tells us there's a deep connection between the tiny and the vast, the small and the big. The same rules that govern the entire universe also work inside each person, in our minds and bodies. The same forces that shape the stars also influence our own reality. In India's ancient Vedic teachings, this idea appears too. They believe the universe is a reflection of consciousness. The Upanishads, old spiritual texts, talk about Brahman, the all-encompassing cosmic reality, and Atman, the inner self or soul. There's a famous phrase, Tavam Asi, which means you are that. It's saying the universe and the individual are really one and the same. The Greek philosopher Plato also touched on this idea with his allegory of the cave, explaining that what we see with our senses is only a shadow of a higher truth. Just like the shadows in the cave only show a reflection of the real objects outside, the world of ideas above shapes what happens in the physical world below. In Jewish Kabbalah, there's a symbol called the Tree of Life. It shows how the spiritual world and the physical world connect on many levels. Each part of the tree reflects a different aspect of reality, showing that the divine and the earthly are linked in complex ways. If you look closely at nature, this principle is clear everywhere, from the tiny structure of atoms to the huge shape of galaxies, from the way trees grow branches to how our brain neurons connect. Patterns like the golden spiral and fractals prove the universe repeats the same designs at every scale. Since the same rules govern both the universe and ourselves, the big question is, how do we use this truth in our daily lives to change what we experience? Here comes a powerful insight that might shift how you see the world. If as above, so below is more than just a phrase, then it means the universe works like a mirror, reflecting what's inside you. Your inner world, your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs directly affects what happens around you. This isn't just a poetic idea, but a deep truth known to ancient wise people. One important Hermetic text called the Kybalion says, "The all is mind." This means everything we see as physical reality is actually a projection of a universal mind. What you think and feel sends out vibrations that shape your surroundings. If you live in fear, you draw more fearful experiences. If you focus on gratitude, you'll notice more reasons to be thankful. If you believe in your power to create, life will open doors for you to show that power. This idea also appears in Buddhism, which teaches that our thoughts create the world we live in. Modern science backs this up too. Our brains build mental habits that shape how we see and react to life, creating cycles that either help us grow or hold us back. Just like the movement of planets affects the Earth, our inner moods affect our daily experiences. Alchemists called this the law of correspondence because the small reflects the large, and the large reflects the small. Astrology gives a clear example. Planets don't control our fate, but represent inner changes and cycles happening inside us. Traditional Chinese medicine sees the body as a mini-universe, where each organ connects to certain emotions, and each flow of energy matches a larger cosmic order. When things are balanced inside, our health shows it on the outside. So, as above, so below is a reminder that everything is connected, from the vast stars above to the thoughts inside your mind. Understanding this can help you take control of your reality. By paying attention to your inner world and keeping it balanced, you can influence the outer world in positive ways. This ancient wisdom invites us to see ourselves not as separate from the universe, but as an integral part of it, an idea that can change how we live and relate to everything around us. When you truly understand that what you put out into the world comes back to you, you gain incredible power. You're not just a victim of the circumstances around you, you're an active creator of your own life. If you keep focusing on what you don't have, you'll find yourself stuck in a mindset of lack. But if you train your mind to notice the abundance all around you, your life will start to shift to match that mindset. This isn't some kind of magic, it's simply how the law of correspondence works. Think about it like this. A river flows because it follows the pull of gravity, and a tree grows because it gets sunlight and nutrients. Your life changes when you align your thoughts and actions with the natural flow of the universe. This idea doesn't just explain how things work, it gives us the key to take control of our lives. So how do we put this into practice? That's what's coming up next. We've already talked about how the law of correspondence connects the big picture, the universe, with the small picture, us, how thoughts connect to matter, and how our inner energy shapes what we experience outside. Now comes the most important question. How do you use this idea to your benefit? The answer is simple but powerful: conscious alignment. If the universe is a mirror reflecting you, then changing your life means first changing your inner energy. This happens on three main levels: your mind, your emotions, and your actions. It all starts with your thoughts. Every idea you hold in your mind is like a seed that grows into your external reality. The ancient wise teachers knew this well. Hermes Trismegistus said that everything created first exists as a thought. Plato talked about a world of ideas that shape our physical world. The Buddha said, "You are what you think. You become what you believe." Here's a simple exercise you can try. Every morning before you start your day, imagine your ideal life as if it's already happening. Feel the emotions of being in that life. Don't just think about it, really experience it inside. When you do this regularly, you send out vibrations that match what you want to attract. The universe doesn't respond to words or random thoughts. It responds to the energy behind them. Your feelings are the fuel that speeds up this process. Think about it. When you're scared, your body tenses, your breath changes, and you tend to attract more things that make you scared. But when you feel grateful, your energy lifts and new opportunities come your way. Wise people from all traditions have taught this truth. Tibetan monks use compassion to raise their energy. Sufi mystics practice devotion to reach higher states of awareness, and alchemists believed that true spiritual transformation is the real treasure. During your day, practice this. Pause and check in with how you feel. If you catch yourself in a low state, bring gratitude into your mind to lift your energy. Gratitude is the feeling closest to abundance. Thinking and feeling are important, but without action, the idea of as above, so below isn't complete. Your inner energy needs to be backed up by what you actually do. If you believe in abundance but keep acting out of fear, your life will show that mismatch. The secret is to make sure your thoughts, feelings, and actions all line up. Here are some tips to keep in mind. If you want more chances to come your way, start by acting like you already have what you want. If you want more love, be loving toward others and yourself. If you want success, live like someone who already has it. The universe doesn't respond to what you say you want. It responds to what you show you're ready to receive. When your thoughts, emotions, and actions are in harmony, the universe can't help but reflect that balance back to you. Now, let's get to the most important part: how to use this every day to change your life. We've explored the hidden power behind this ancient principle and how your thoughts, feelings, and actions shape your reality. But the real question is how to apply it in a way that brings real change. The answer lies in 3 simple daily habits that ancient mystics used to tune into the universe's energy. The first hour of your day sets the tone for the next 24 hours. If you wake up rushing, stressed, or overwhelmed by bad news, your energy gets stuck in chaos and difficulty. But if you start with gratitude, meditation, or positive affirmations, your energy shifts and the universe responds. The wise people of the past understood this deeply. Egyptians had morning rituals to sync with the rising sun's energy. Yogis practiced the sun salutation to awaken their life force, and alchemists talked about the golden hour, when the mind is most open to change. Try this morning routine. Spend 10 minutes writing down 3 things you're thankful for. Repeat a positive affirmation like, "Today I align with the energy of success and abundance." Then take 5 minutes to breathe deeply and focus your mind. When you begin your day with clear intention, your outer world starts to match your inner energy. By using these simple steps, you can take control of your life and work with the universe rather than against it. This isn't just wishful thinking, it's a practical approach, grounded in ancient wisdom and modern understanding. When you learn to manage your thoughts, emotions, and actions, you become the co-creator of your destiny, shaping your reality in powerful ways. So remember, what you send out comes back to you. Align your mind, heart, and actions with the life you want to live, and watch how everything changes. The universe is reflecting you all the time, Make sure you're sending out the right message. The universe isn't just out there in the stars and galaxies. It's also right here in the people and situations around you. If you find yourself surrounded by constant conflict, it's worth asking if there's something inside you that needs healing. If you're attracting new opportunities, that means your energy is in sync with abundance. This idea isn't new. Ancient traditions have all taught similar truths. Buddhists say reality reflects what's inside us. Shamans believe that the things we judge in others are lessons we haven't yet learned ourselves. The Essenes spoke about the 7 mirrors of life, which show us our fears, wounds, and growth areas. Before reacting to anything outside yourself, ask, what is this trying to teach me about myself? If someone else's behavior bothers you, it might be showing you something you also need to work on. If you admire qualities in someone else, recognize those qualities already exist inside you and just need to be developed. When you understand that the outside world is a reflection of your inner world, you can use every situation as an opportunity to grow and raise your energy. What you think about last before you fall asleep also shapes your reality because your subconscious mind works on those thoughts while you dream. If you go to bed worried, your mind keeps spinning problems overnight. But if you visualize what you want before sleeping, the universe begins to align with your wishes. Ancient mystics knew this too. Egyptian sages used sleep as a way to connect with the divine. Sufi mystics believed the soul traveled to other realms during sleep. Even Nikola Tesla said many of his best ideas came to him during deep relaxation before sleep. So try this. Imagine clearly that your next day will go perfectly. Write down an intention like, tomorrow everything flows easily and in my favor. Take a deep breath and feel grateful for what you already have. Your last thought before sleep becomes the first one your mind processes when you wake up. If there's one key thing to remember, it's this. The universe doesn't respond to what you say you want, but to the energy you send out. When your energy matches what you desire, life starts moving in your favor. Your relationships get better, your health balances out, and your finances improve. If you want more love, become loving yourself. If you want success, adopt the habits of successful people. If you want peace, make space for silence and meditation in your life. As above, so below isn't just a philosophical idea, it's a practical guide for living. So how will you take this knowledge and use it in your life? Everything we've talked about points to one clear truth. The reality you experience mirrors what's inside you. There's no real separation between the material world and your inner world, between what happens in your mind and what shows up in your life. Here's a secret most people miss. You are the bridge between the spiritual and the physical, the architect of your own destiny. When you think about it, everything you experience is a reflection of your energy, your thoughts, and your feelings. If your inner world is chaotic, your outer world will reflect that chaos. If you're calm and balanced inside, the situations you attract will match that harmony. This isn't magic or luck, it's a universal law that governs everything. Ancient teachings keep reminding us that the way to change the world is to change ourselves first. But this is where many people get stuck. They wait for change to happen outside, instead of stepping into their own power. The universe doesn't respond to what you want. It responds to who you are. If you live from a place of lack, you'll keep feeling scarcity. But if you live from a place of abundance, everything you need will come your way. Picture your life as a giant cosmic mirror. Every thought, word, and action is like a brushstroke painting the picture you see reflected back in reality. If you want to change what you see in that mirror, simply wishing or complaining won't work. You need to change what's inside you. Harmony, prosperity, and happiness don't show up by chance. They come when you tune into those energies from within. So how do you make this real? First, stop looking for answers outside yourself. The key is in how you interpret and respond to each experience. Second, develop the energy you want to attract. If you want love, become love. If you want peace, cultivate peace inside. Third, act with confidence, not doubt. Live as if you already are the person you want to be, and the universe will match that energy. None of this is new wisdom. Buddha said, "What you think, you become." Rumi reminded us, "The universe is within you." Alchemists declared, "He who knows himself knows the universe." These aren't hidden secrets, just timeless truths that we've forgotten. The real question is, will you keep waiting for change to come from outside, or will you take control of your life now? Because the truth is, the key has always been inside you. If this message resonates with you, if you're ready to put it into action, this is your moment. Share which part of this insight impacted you the most. Pass this message along to anyone who needs to hear it, and stay tuned, because upcoming messages will help you dive even deeper into this understanding. Remember, the universe is a mirror. What will you choose to reflect from now on?